The year was 1987. It was a day like any other. Ray and I were smoking marshmallows on the campfire.
That's when, quite unexpectedly, we got a call from Obama himself. It was mere hours before Christmas Day, so we found it unusual that he would be calling to play Clone Drone in the Danger Zone with him at this hour.
We were stunned when he said he didn't want to play rock, paper, scissors with us, but instead hired us to go on an Arctic expedition.
We had been retired for years, so it came as quite the surprise to us. There were apparently rumors about someone stealing people's cookies and bringing them back to the North Pole. What kind of monster breaks into your house to steal cookies, especially on Christmas Eve?
Military leaders suspected that Godzilla had woken up and was responsible for the series of mass robberies, and that's what I thought too at the time.
We would have done it out of the kindness of our own hearts alone, but still, Obama insisted that he pay us $5 to go on the expedition.
After a long walk to the North Pole, what we saw still haunts us to this day. It was a pole sticking out of the earth at the very top of the globe. That's when we realized exactly why they call it the North Pole.
When I tried pole dancing on the pole, a trap door underneath us fell open, and next thing we knew, we were falling into a secret underground lair.
We found ourselves under immediate gunfire by at least one elf. I looked over at Ray, and we both nodded before taking out our swords and cutting all the bullets in half until he was completely out of ammo. We asked him where Santa's chambers were, and he drew us a map, eventually explaining that it was the door on the left.
We saw him sleeping in his bed, so without a second thought, we jumped up and started teabagging him. But it was a trap. The hologram disappeared, and we were lowered into a cage. Santa walked out of the shadows, clapping slowly.
Well, 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 he said. Look what we have here. I never thought we'd meet again.
Santa, I said angrily.
You'll never get away with this, I yelled.
Oh, but I already have, he said sinisterly, before taking out a cookie and devouring it right in front of us. It was looking hopeless, but out of nowhere, Godzilla broke out from the ground and freed us.
Santa stared up at the beast in complete horror. All he could do was watch as Godzilla charged up his atomic breath.
Santa spread his arms, accepting the cold embrace of the death he'd been long avoiding. Had his time come? Was this it? Perhaps he deserved this. Was she alive? Would Mrs. Claus even recognize the man he had become? All these thoughts raced through Santa's mind as time seemed to stand still. Eventually, Godzilla fired.
But it wasn't over. Rudolph jumped out in front of him and blocked the blast with his nose.
Santa packed his bags and ran, so Sid and I jumped off and chased him.
We caught up to him just as he was taking off in his sleigh. He hadn't seen us yet, so we took the chance to jump out and scare him, which caused him to crash into the Golden Gate Bridge.
The three of us tumbled out and landed on a beam at the top of the bridge. It was a standoff. All at the same time, we ran at each other and started throwing hands. It seemed like an even match until we started remembering our friends and all the people he had wronged. Obama, Kung Fu Panda, Walter White, Markiplier, Sid from Ice Age, Eren Yeager, Colonel Sanders, Mufasa, and even Lightning McQueen.
We found the power in ourselves to overpower him and fight him until he lost his balance and slipped. I caught him. And then there was a really cool shot of me holding him by one arm with the lights in the city in the background, and it's sort of at an angle but it's dark and the lighting is really cool. Then there was this moment where he looked up at me, not saying a word. The intensity of the silence was almost unbearable.
Get it? Bear?
He didn't say a word, but his eyes begged for mercy. Long live the king, I said, dropping him, and then grabbing Ray and jumping down after him. We landed on him, and he broke our fall with his belly, and we did the funky pillar dance on his body.